Great Rising Ascensions family. So right here we have our 1 ounce dry Chondrus Chrispus, which we're going to separate it in 2 parts in order to do the first clean. Alright, so we're going to go to the next bowl, and this is the other half. So in this process we're going to get out any type of rocks, any type of debris that's in it before soaking it and running it underneath the water in order to get more things out. So let's see if we have any rocks, anything that's been caught on. We have a rock right here. We pull it off, put it to the side, throw it to the garbage. Got to go through it very thoroughly. Another one. Pull it to the side. So we open it up. And remember, some of the flounds, some of the Chondrus Chrispus is tightened up because it's been dried. And here's another one. Pull it off and throw it to the side. But once it's soaked, you're going to see that it's going to be a lot simpler to even clean it and get things out. Alright, so the next step we're going to do is we're going to hydrate it with some distilled water. And the kind of distilled water we're using is from Target. Distilled water has many different benefits as well too. Alright. Pouring distilled water into it, hydrating it. You want to fill it all the way to the top. Alright, I'm going to hydrate this next one. Alright, so we're going to let it sit for a few moments, and then afterwards we're going to go through it. And anything that does not look like Chondrus Chrispus, such as this little green stuff, algae right here, you discard it. You put it to the side because the flounds on Chondrus Chrispus look a lot different versus anything that's attached to it. So we're going to give it a few moments and then we're going to come right back to it. What we have right here is we've allowed the Chondrus Chrispus to soak for about 45 minutes, and on the paper we state that anywhere from 45 minutes to about an hour and a half, or depending if you wanted to even soak even longer, it's up to you. So in this demonstration we'll show you that we're about to do some cleaning, and as you can see there's little particulates which come from the sea that attach to these flounds. So right now there's this other green algae which does not belong. So if there's any Chondrus Chrispus attached to it, we'll pull it off of it, and if it doesn't come off, what we'll end up doing is just discarding it. So we're going to keep going through it, and as you can see as well too, that the Chondrus Chrispus has opened up a lot, family. And the Chondrus Chrispus actually comes in different variations. So you might get a greenish color, on top of it a reddish color, a yellowish color, and also if it's been laid out in the sun, it turns into a goldish yellowish color, so which a lot of people tend to say gold moss. Alright, so right here as you can see there's a piece that we're going through right now, and we're just currently just discarding it. So you're going to do the same thing and just go through it, and this is the reason why we have you separate it as well. But the tremendous benefits of this is worth the cleaning, family. On the Gracilaria, it's a little bit different because most of the Gracilaria, their tentacles grow a little bit different versus Chondrus Chrispus, which has flounce, looking like the tree of life. Right here, this is where actually the Chondrus Chrispus actually latches on to rocks in order for it to reproduce. Here's another one. As you can see, we pulling it off. So pretty much you'll go through it. If you find anything that does not belong in the Chondrus Chrispus, you take it out. If it doesn't look like the Chondrus Chrispus, take it out. Here's another one. There's this red algae that, if you go right here, there's this red algae that's attached to the Chondrus Chrispus, as you can see right here. You're going to separate that and also discard that as well too. It's another form of sea vegetable. You know, the sea has a lot of great benefits when it comes to its life forms and the vegetation. Most of our oxygen that we actually get is from the oceans and the sea vegetables in the ocean. So after you're done with that, the next step is going to be taking your Chondrus Chrispus to the sink. So right here, we're going to run some water to get any form of murkiness, the dirt, out of the Chondrus Chrispus, the sand, you know, which makes it look real dirty. You want it to be very clean. Alright, we shut off the water, and what we're going to end up doing is transferring some into the strainer. Alright, and as you can see, we've done a few rinses, but this is still a little bit murky, so we're going to do one more rinse. We're going to collect the rest of the Chondrus Chrispus and pour it into the strainer. And run a little bit more water underneath it. So that's the second rinse. Alright, so we're just going to thoroughly go right through the Chondrus Chrispus. Look how beautiful it is. Great Rasing Ascensions family, look how beautiful this thing is. Alright, some may stick on your fingers, you know. But alright, so now we're going to just get the rest prepared, and the next step will be to transfer it into a pot and actually start cooking it down. So here are the other things that get attached to the Chondrus Chrispus, the other sea vegetables, you know. So what we do is remove it, the rocks, and here's this other green sea vegetable. I can't think of the name right now. As you can see, some of the Chondrus Chrispus is still attached to it, so we just discard it, and if you can, I'll say do your best to take it off. Alright, Great Rasing Ascensions family, we've washed our Chondrus Chrispus very thoroughly, went through it, found a few shells, also some rocks, other debris that got attached to it, other algae as well. So our next thing is to put it in this pot, and we usually use glass because we prefer cooking with glass. So, but if you don't have glass, it's fine, don't worry about it. So what I'm going to do next is put the Chondrus Chrispus in this bowl. Alright, so what I've done is I've added 2 cups to this, and I'm going to add an additional 2 cups to it again, which would make it 4 cups. Fill it up a little bit. So now I'm about to turn on the stove and get it cooking. And the utensil that I tend to use is a wooden spoon. If you don't have a wooden spoon, that's fine. And also if you don't have a glass bowl, that's fine as well too. And also remember to put your heat on medium-low when you start it, alright? And you will add a little bit more water to it as the water starts to evaporate. As you can see right here on this Chondrus Chrispus, it actually has the eggs, which allows it to reproduce. And as I said earlier, anybody that has gotten it, it has both the feminine and masculine energy. Alright, as you can see, it's starting to form into the gel. It's taking a little bit, but slowly it's starting to melt. Some moments it will stick to the sides, so you have to make sure that you utilize your spoon in order to scrape off some of it and put it right back in. Alright, so we're at our 15-minute mark. So what we're going to do is turn off the stove and allow it to sit for about 10 to 15 minutes to cool before transferring it into the blender and blending it up to see the end results. Alright, so take a look at it, the consistency. So start it up the blender. And now we're going to transfer it back into the pot to allow it to cook down a little bit more. Alright, so right now I currently have it on the stove at medium heat, and pretty much we're going to stir it so it doesn't stick to the bottom, and we're going to have it on the stove for 10 to 15 minutes. Pretty much gauge it, you know. The less water there is, the tighter the gel will be. The more water there is, the looser the gel will be for the Chondrus Chrispus. Alright, so I'm going to turn it off. The consistency is more like a gravy consistency. So what we're going to do is allow it to sit for at least a good 10 minutes. But you have to watch it very carefully or else it will start to solid up. So before we transfer it into the 16-ounce mason jar, we're going to allow it to sit. Right, so here goes it all. And we're going to scrape the rest of it out of the bowl in order for you to have your full 16 ounce. Alright, so as you can see, your 16-ounce Chondrus Chrispus gel from Great Rasing Ascensions.